Welcome back to our lesson. Now, before we continue, I would like us to first of all revise on what we did the last time. By doing this, I hope we all remember, and I would like us to try our hands on some of the questions that has to do with what we learned the last time. Now, let's get started. So I have some two questions here I would like us to learn, or I would like us to try our hands on. So the first question says print. So you are going to print on about a patient's name and his age. So let's get started. But before we do it together, I would like you to pause the video and give it a try. And if you are able to do it, that's good. It means you are trying, you are really learning. Okay, welcome back. If you're able to do it, congratulations. If you weren't, let's do it together. So the question says we should print. So which means we are going to write our print command with our parentheses and our code. So we are going to print the name of the patient. So it's going to be name. So the name is Ni. And then it says we should print the age. So print the age. So that's going to be age. And that's 20. So let's run this. Sorry. So we are having a name to be Ni and an age to be 20. Nice one. So we move on to the next question. The next question says, so you are going to ask two questions. That's your user. It says the person's name and the favorite color. Then you print a message like Ni likes blue. So let's do it together. So remember, since it's a question, it means we are going to use the input command. So it's going to be input parentheses. So the name of the person. So it's going to be what is your name? What is your name? Your question mark. Sorry. Then the next question is the favorite color. It's also a question, so it means we are going to use the same input. So input what is your favorite color? So the same question mark, backslash and n. We all know the effects of the backslash n, right? That's because it's going to bring our answer to the next line. Thus, our answer will be written below the question, which makes our arrangement very neatly. So enter. Now, we have been able to ask a question, but we need to print a command or a message that says Ni likes blue, right? So first of all, we need to label these things. We need to give them the name. So we are going to give this a name. We'll name its name because you were asking the name when you got to that place. No, this was the color, sorry. So we'll call this color. And then we can give this name. So let's call this name. Now, we've been able to do this. So the next thing we are going to do now is that we are going to print a message like Ni likes blue, right? So it's going to be print parenthesis, print Ni. Now, Ni was given a title at the top as name, right? So name likes. Now, likes is not there, so which means that it's a command we are going to write now, or I would say it's a test we are now going to write. So you need to bring your parenthesis likes. Nice one. Now, one thing that I need to remind you of is that you need to bring space right in front of the L and also by the S, just to separate the letters, else they are going to be together. But before we do that, I would like us to print out the command and then we see what's going to happen before we have our correction done. Is it okay? Let's continue. So it's going to be name plus likes plus the color. So the color, and then now let's run this and then we see what's going to happen. So you have what's your name? What's your name to be? Ni. What's your favorite color? to be blue, and then hit enter, you can see it's very close. That's going to make it very hard for us to read. Right? So the first thing we need to do is that we put space here and then space here just to separate them. So we rerun this, we're going to rerun the whole thing. So you're having what is your name to be neat. Enter. What's your favorite color to be blue? Enter. And we're having name likes blue. Very nice and neat. So now we are moving on to today's lesson. But today, what we are going to learn today is we are going to learn integers and strings. Now they are also very simple to understand, and I'll teach you the difference between them. Now integer is written to be int. That's the short form of integer, and string is also written as str. That's also the short form of integer. Now these two people, they are very simple to understand. Let's say you have a number like 2001 and you're having another one to be in quotes, the same 2001. Now the only difference between them is that one is in the quote and one is not having a quote. Now the one in the quote, you can see very clearly that it's written in green. That's because any type or any text that's written in quotes becomes a string. Automatically any text that's in a string, that's in a quote is called a string, and any text that's not in a quote is an integer. So since this figure here is in a quote, it's called a string, and this over here is without it. So that's what we call the integer. So we are going to try our hands on something that's going to give you much more understanding. So with that, we are going to do this. We are going to write a code that calculates the age of a person. So since we are calculating the age of the person, we will ask the question, right? So it's going to be input. That's because it's a question. So input. So let's make it input your year of birth. So birth year. Let's make it birth year. Birth year. And bring our space. Now we are going to have our age. Now we are now going to work for age. Now we are going to find how we are going to be able to get our answer. So it's going to be the age that's going to be equal to, which year are we in now? We are in the year 2022, right? So it's going to be 2022 minus your year. So we can first of all give this a title or a name, or let's give it an identity to be age, or let's make it year. So we make this year, and that's equal to that, and we are going to make it year. You are going to see something right now. You understand something very, very soon. So let's run this and you see what's going to happen. So you're having your year of birth, and that's 2001. Hit enter, and boom. That's because watch here. This over here, they are telling us down here that in line 5 there's an error, and that's the type error has to do with unsupported operand type. That's for an integer in a strand. Do you know why? Look over here. Right here in 2022 has nothing to do with a quote, but with the year there's a quote here, right? So that makes the year that makes the year a strand, and the 2022 an integer. So to be able to get an answer, we need to first of all convert the year into an integer for us to have an answer. So we are going to make it integer, and we'll put it in quote, and also so let's rerun this. Okay, so the year of birth is 20. We hit enter, and it's waiting for the next process, which means that we are not done with our command. But assuming we were not able to convert our year into an integer, it's going to give us a type error. So which means that we were doing something wrong by then. So now we are going to complete our code by saying, okay, so print the age. So I need you to print the age. That's because by then it has been able to work all our formulas for it. So we are having print age. So let's run this. So the year of birth, that's 2001. Hit enter. And we are having 21 as an answer. Congratulations. Which means that we've been able to do this. We've been able to write a code that will be able to calculate the age of a person. Nice one if you were able to understand and if you followed it throughout. Now, I would like you to also try out your hands on anything. You can decide to make it a color or any other thing just to be able to have more understanding of it. Thank you. I'll see you next time on our lesson. Thank you.